Echo Lima 87. This is 100 watts and a wire.
Wow. I don't know who I got on the radio right now, but I've got somebody. Hello and welcome. An actual test, episode number 423. It's Christian. And doing it live like we used to do back in the olden days. From broadcast radio, it's still too loud. Make my mic sound nice. Going back to the radio days with live broadcasting, which I love, still love, miss playing music on the radio, to 100 watts in a wire, doing live streams for a couple of years. And then, what can I say? I think life, and you know how I like to bring it to you funky. This is actually going to be recorded and live streamed out live, no safety nets. And we're just in the Kudnick studio, as it were. We've got the radio on. We're listening to 20 meters. And there's so much to catch up on. And hello to KD9 Whiskey November Victor for coming by and saying hello. Austin, I see you too, brother. Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Golf Whiskey. I want to incorporate these live streams back into my world again, but I want to tell you a little bit about what's been going on. And if you followed the podcast at all over the last 6 months, you probably have a pretty good idea. Life is just kicking me in the ding-ding. It's not a pity party at all. But sometimes you just need to take a break from it. And I've seen it happen in other people's lives. And when I started with my license in 2012, I didn't understand. People were saying, you know, I took a break. I was away for 5, 10, 20 years sometimes. I had to take a break, put it down, raise a family, got a job, relocated. Boy, I am not happy with that level there. Good. So appreciate you stopping by because, number one, let's talk about how this went down. Moved from Missouri. The homestead's still there and exists. It's a family piece, and perhaps one day we will return. That's the idea, right? So Mama got a nice job here in Sarasota, Florida, so we moved at the end of June. And, you know, things have been a little rocky on my behalf. She's doing great. The kids are adjusting well. And for me, it's like, who wants this old man, old-timer to come and work with him? Some possibles. Not going to get too drastic with it. But there was a point where I needed to filter all my work. It just felt like I was fragmented, a lot of different pieces. You know, everything I was doing needed its own set of social media, and I thought, you know, it's crazy. What's up, Rob? Thanks for stopping by. November 8th, Papa. Sierra, Papa. And anybody who knows about this second reincarnation, I guess you'd call it, of the 100 Watts in a Wire YouTube channel, either has a 100 watt ID, they're on a mailing list, and I just put it out there. Maybe you're on Facebook or our Discord server. And I've been laying pretty low, which is, you know, not normal for me. Since 2015, I've been kicking it out pretty much on a weekly basis. But again, the family first situation happened, and trying to settle into a new place, I ended up pulling the plug on the old channel, right? And in hindsight, I should have just kept it. Here's a tip for all you guys, not even necessarily ham radio related, but whenever you get the S's or, you know, you're tired, weary, and beat up, just put it down for a little bit. I think there's a great blues song, I Can't Quit You, Baby, but I got to put you down for a while. And looking back, I probably should have just put it down for a little bit, left it alone, because a lot of work went into building up the channel, a lot of videos, and I still have all the stuff. It's just a matter of pulling it out. Good evening, Mark. We are recording this episode number 423 live on the new resurrected YouTube channel. And I appreciate anybody who has found it, responded to it, and subscribed. Appreciate it. I know it's not a lot going on, but we have a great community, a lot of people on Facebook, Discord, and on YouTube. I ended up just getting I think, overwhelmed. Things were just kind of overwhelming me, and I pulled the plug on it. I just pulled the plug. I thought, I'll just do the podcast, put the podcast out there as best I can, and not be bothered with the mind F that is YouTube. And then time goes by, and it's like, all right, well, you probably shouldn't have done that. And that's one of those things. I probably should have kept it around. If you have a question about anything, life in general or anything, put a Q in front of it. There's not so many people that I won't see it, but I'm flying solo. I didn't call the boys or throw out an invitation to jump in here. I probably could do that depending on how long we hang out here. But it is what it is. So we're starting over from scratch, and I know that the base of who finds us are people who, are digging us and in the community and active. So welcome from Facebook, Discord. If you are on the mailing list, I'm slowly getting the word out and around. Welcome back. Welcome to it. If you have any suggestions you want, drop me a line, because 100 Watts in a Wire is a priority. I've always been pretty out front with saying that, these projects just need to pay for themselves. I'm not looking to necessarily make a living from it. That would be nice. You do put a lot of time and energy into these things, but if you get, the simple things that you can do is the thumbs up, the subscribing, and then maybe I find sponsors down the line. But as long as the thing pays for itself, everything's cool. Anyhow, Pastor Joe is here. Hello there, Pastor Joe. I started a new channel, which I know that you would enjoy, but it is a YouTube channel, which one of my advisors has been Pastor Joe over the time, and everybody's kind of been, I've been laying low, but grinding it out on the homestead front, just trying to generate enough work and means for the family first. Christmas time, I'm like, I gotta check in with the people and at least be honest and upfront with what is happening. If you just joined or you're just listening to the podcast, I feel energized to come back to 100 Watts in a Wire, to put it out with regular love and attention, to build up the membership program, to get more information out there to you, help more people. I just needed to pull back for a little bit, and I think you get it. Let's not harp on that. Hello to Ken. Hello to Mark. Ken is Kilo Bravo 8. Hotel Zulu. I like that call sign very much. Mark, my brother from Maryland, they said they had put me on a milk carton. I didn't go radio silent. I like to check in on the Discord, let them know the temperature and what the weather's like here in Sarasota. That's a whole different discussion. Happy holidays to you, by the way. If you, hopefully you've had a wonderful Hanukkah. Christmas is coming up. Whatever you may celebrate, I hope you're with your family and in good shape. And I'm doing fine. I put the call out there because it is Christmas time, and I know you guys have been out there looking to spend some of that money. Looking to spend that money. I know it's true. And there's some answers on Discord. I need to go and pull those up. But it might be easier to do some things like this on the Facebook group. And every now and again, it's either every week or every other week, I'll put out a community question and ask you a question about what you're doing. 100 Watts in a Wire has never been about me telling you what to do. I don't know enough to tell anybody anything. I just try to use my skill set to help people get answers to the questions and solve the problems that they have. Meanwhile, I get that residual information as well. So you turn around and you've been licensed, it's 11, going on 12 years. Where does the time go? All right, so if you're here joining the live recording, don't be shy. Put down what you've been looking for Christmas. You may have done that already in your Discord. So we'll do a little bit of live stuff, and I'll share some information that is coming right off of our Facebook group. Again, hopefully we'll get back to doing a lot of lives. If you dig it, I think that you do. I sure do. It's live. Got a radio on 20 meters. I don't know what's going on here. It's awfully staticky. All right. We'll get to Mark's comments and and Pastor Joe's comments as well. Question was, what's on your Christmas ham radio wish list this year? Please leave your call sign. I'll mention them on the next episode. Well, here we are, episode 423. And Mark thinks I should be out doing some walks on the beach. Let me fix this. There's a little askew here. I haven't done the live stream in so long that it's like, oh, that's just weird. Pastor Joe says he got a new Yaesu FT5D for Black Friday. It's a Black Friday deal. That's wonderful. If anybody else has anything, don't be shy now. The people that are here, all good people. If you're new to this community, just reach out and say hello. Pastor Joe is here. Mark is here. These are regulars. Have been running with me for a long time. You got to be cool. That's the only rule around here. Be cool. And they're all nerds, by the way. All total nerds and geeks. Cool meaning to each other. Rick says the KH1 is on order for Christmas. He just got a new hip. So that's something different. I've never heard that before for Christmas. Got a new hip for Christmas. He's looking forward to working pedestrian mobile in January and on the beach in Maui, perhaps on top of the volcano as well. He's Victor Echo 6 Golf Kilo. All right. There's another one. Mr. Buys, a Yaesu DX10. Super far out of reach, but would be awesome. He's in South Africa. We got listeners in South Africa. And in VE land, you got to like that. He's Zulu Sierra 6, Sierra, India. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Buys. Perfect for this time of year. Mr. Buys. Okay. And Andrew says, far out would have been the FTDX 101 MP. And Mikey says, if you find the funds, it's well worth it. So you see, it's a two-way conversation from me to you, you to me, and our community to one another. This is not about me speaking at you. Ken here in our chat says, I want my tower up by Christmas. Well, I wonder where you are in the process. Did you pour the concrete, my brother? Kilo Bravo 8, Hotel Zulu. Rob, he's November 8, Papa, Sierra Papa, got a TRU SDX. He can't wait to try it out. Good luck with that, Rob. Keep me posted on that. Nothing new in the shack here. That's another situation. Remind me, I'll tell you about it in a second. Moving on to our community responses. Greg says he wants to get a linear amp that's capable of just 200 to 500 watts at a good price. Wants a 120. I know. I'll shoot my eye out, he says. He'll shoot his eye out. Let's see what Ricardo wants. Ricardo wants something that I think I've wanted for a long time, too, and that's one of these 30-foot retractable mini towers. He's Kilo Victor 4, Oscar Papa, and he also lives in Florida. He's close to the east side of the state in Orlando. He works on planes. Big brain. Living in paradise over there. I like the crank-up towers and the tilt towers, but the older I get, I'm thinking the tilts, I don't know. Unless they crank downward, then that'd be all right. Mark says he's getting some socks and underwear and the yearly coffee cup from his daughter. Well, they're thinking about you at least a minute. Underwear and the t-shirt's very practical. And maybe some crab meat. What do you think about that, Mark? I think that'd be a good piece. Jim Wheat says he wants some peace, tranquility, and less QRM. He says, happy holidays. He's November 9, Hotel Oscar Victor. Michael says, an ARRL N-Fed antenna half kit. Well, this is a little wordy. Either my dyslexia just took over or I'm missing some words here. An ARRL N-Fed half wave kit. He wrote it all right. When did the ARRL get into the business of selling antennas? Does anybody know that one? That's a question for you. I didn't know that they do that. I guess so. They're more than just books and stuff and magazines. I guess. Don says a lot of wishes, but need a new roof. Good luck with that, Don. Understood. A new roof has got to be something. The main industry, it seems like down here in better days when the mortgage rates are not 7.5%, is probably real estate. But really, I think it's construction. It's ongoing constantly. And the cleanup of the debris from the palm trees and the stuff that falls from, it's pine needles. They're always blowing. There's no grass. There's no soil. But they're out here blowing around like, it's crazy. It's wacky. That's probably the big industry in Florida that I can tell at this point. Steven says he wants a DX Commander. We have some people in our community who are looking at that antenna, and some people have tried it. And they talk about the shipping and the cost, and when the costs go to the right side and shipping's not too bad, they pop on it. And I haven't heard anything bad about a DX Commander, except for maybe perhaps the setup might be complicated for your average bear like me, maybe you. But in terms of performance, the DX Commander seems to get pretty good reviews. What are we listening to here? We're on 20 meters, 14190 at the time of this recording. I have no idea what we're listening to, but it could be talking about us. Let's move off of this. I'm not sure what these boys are talking about.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think they're talking about DeJesus at all. Moving on with Rick. I have a Yaesu FTM 500 with Mars mod on order from Gigaparts, which should arrive before Christmas. Plus, he bought himself a new laptop. He's Kilo Oscar 4, Oscar Whiskey Bravo. Pastor Joe from the Instant Hotline says the league has been selling a kit for a year or so, 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters at $80 a pop. Be curious to see how well it sells. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Ken. We appreciate you. Chew your food and swallow no bones. Moving on now with our question of this week. What's on that wish list for Christmas? And Bernard says, still and always a Vibroplex. Has anybody worked with Vibroplex? I talked to them a while back, probably 4 or 5 years ago. You got to remember, 100 watts in a wire has been around since 2015. And Vibroplex, I know they make a lot of different things. And we talked a little bit about sponsorship before, and at the time, I hadn't used any of their products, so I don't know what they do. Now, they do keys and stuff, and I wasn't learning CW at the time. So it never really worked out in terms of them becoming a sponsor of 100 watts in a wire. I was generally sticking with products and companies that I had used before. So I don't know. If you've ever used Vibroplex, you like them, let me know. Dennis says he wants much more time to play radio in 2024. Isn't that the truth? Alpha India 5 Golf Charlie is Dennis. And I don't think that's unique either, right? I could probably look in my log to see who the next or the last person I made a contact with. It's been a while, and it was probably on a recent 100 watts in a wire Sunday evening net. And, Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're on 20 and 40 meters. And we just gather. We talk about amateur radio on the show, on this podcast. Share our stories, Q&As, and all this sort of stuff. And then we get on the radio. We try to encourage people to do that. Thanks to all of our net control operators who do that and hold that down every week. Now, coming into the holidays, depending on when you hear this, Sunday is Christmas Eve. So what we'll do is we always kind of put the flag out there as a gathering of the willing. I know, and not everybody has someone, not everybody celebrates. And some people get on the air. Some people just need a break from their family. I know that might sound harsh, but it's true, right? Some people just need a break. You see that a little bit more on Thanksgiving. People put the stretchy pants on and then they go jump on the radio. We'll have the opportunity for a gathering of the willing Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Central, and it's easy for anybody to do a gathering of the willing. All you need to do is post up on our socials where you are. Call, CQ 100 watts and a wire, gathering of the willing, and make some contacts. You can just be your own net control if you'd like to. Sunday nights, typically the high holidays, we may take a break and do a gathering of the willing. It all depends, but we're there for you. Follow the frequencies on Discord and on our Facebook group, and you can come join us. Just tune up on 20 and 40. We don't have a set frequency. I know people look for that almost every week. Where's the net? And it's Wednesday. We kind of go where there's an opening. We like to be a good neighbor. And so we don't try to monopolize is the word, or, hold a certain frequency down for any good reason. We just try to go where we can. We're usually on 20 and 40 meters. We also use NetLogger. So you can look on NetLogger and find out what frequencies we're on. Discord, Facebook, sign up for that. And hopefully much more live screams on YouTube. Continuing on with our discussion on what's on your Christmas list, your wish list, as it were. Dennis says he wants more time. We know that, and that's true. Steve, a new portable 2-meter, 70-centimeter Yagi for MCOM work. That's from Steve. And good luck with that. What are you using out there for your MCOM Go kits? And somebody asked me a question here as we're in a live stream and recording this episode, which is episode 423. Hard to believe. What my antenna situation is, well, the antenna situation is not much of a situation. I've got an off-center fed dipole for 20 and 40 meters. It does fine. You can see activity there on 20 meters, but here in Florida on the west side, West Coast, Sarasota style, 40 meters. Now I'm recording this at about 6:20 in the evening. And 40 meters is hysterical because at about 11 in the morning, it disappears. Let's jump over there now together and we'll see. And our listeners, you'll listen to see, listen to hear what's there. All right, so we're seeing signals now. Now, this looks good for the people who are with me now. This is good because the sun's already down here in the east. And but 11 in the morning, it just sucks out. It's gone. So I don't have anything really queued up, and I'm not listening specifically for anything in general. Anyway, it's nice to hear voices. And, I've been so busy. It's just on the grind. It's like looking for work. If I have to fill out another job application, I'm going to scream. But I do it every day. It's like Groundhog Day. You remember that movie? It's like Groundhog Day here. I get up, I search the wires, I'm looking for the gigs, applying for the gigs, I might have an interview, and the whole time, I'm thinking about our community and what we could be doing, and I'm like, you know what? Can't do that today. Just can't do it. And luckily, we're inching closer to the holidays, and my wife is like, listen, bless her heart. She's a saint, Pastor Joe. Pastor Joe has met my wife and my children, by the way, so I think he can attest to it. She said, you gotta let yourself enjoy the holiday. You gotta be calm. Don't worry. And it's really hard, man. To be honest, and I'm always honest, but we don't always get to talk. It's, the anxiety and stress of it, the having to earn, looking for something. And typically I'm looking for something that's kind of remote because now that we're in a new area, I don't have that grandparent structure that a lot of people do when they live near the family. I can't just take my kid there. And there was a gig that came up at a hospital, and it was a 12-hour shift. No, I was not going to do surgery. I hadn't talked to anybody into letting me do that. Although at the Browns Hotel in near Ellicott City, you can do surgery at certain things. We'll talk about that more as we go along. Mark can fill you in on this. I know I'm ranting a little bit, but that's how it goes. And this is just the intersection of life and amateur radio. The hospital wanted me to work a gig, working with the radios and the security team. It was a 12-hour, 6 to 6, then 8 to 8. And that infrastructure of the family is not in place here. So it was really difficult to pull the trigger and do that one. I did do some work with them for a short period of time, but the 12-hour thing wasn't going to work with the family. So that's kind of how that went. Lou, it's awesome that you came here too. I'm so glad that you found us. You're not so late. You can go back and watch it again. Not too much new information if you've been following the podcast, but more about my rationale of returning to YouTube, not stressing out over that, but wishing and thinking I probably should have let it be. Let it be, leave it alone, walk away from it, and then come back would have been a better idea. But it is what it is. I did what I did, and I did what I thought needed be done. But welcome to it. I'm going to be coming back here more often because I love the live element and I like being with you guys. And Pastor Joe does not want to talk about the Browns unless there is a wrecking ball going through it. Yeah. Anyway, the Browns Hotel is a very seedy hotel. That's all I can say. Where people can give their organs for money. I don't know. And then Mark in our community puts them in people. I don't know, man. That's all I know. It's a weird place. Don't stop there. You see the Browns Hotel. Keep going. You're almost there, but not quite. All right, let's go back to our question. Remember, you can find all of this at 100wattsinawire.com. You can subscribe to the podcast there. You can buy yourself a cool t-shirt with the money. After you cash in the stuff you did not want for Christmas, get yourself some 100 Watts in a Wire gear. Be proud. And order with confidence. All at 100wattsinawire.com. Okay, Doug says Santa came early. He got an FTDX 101 MP. He's Kilo Bravo 0, Quebec Bravo Tango. So there you go. Pastor Joe wants to convert the Browns Hotel into something good. And I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. I would like to see it become a Wawa. Maybe, I don't think you should eat there for a while. They'd have to burn that place down and it'd be contaminated probably for a while. But anyway, the Browns could be a cool thing. It might not be the safest activation. But Pastor Joe, I love the spirit. I love your spirit of taking that place and making it into something nice, I guess. He just wants to activate anything. You know what I'm saying? All right. Moving on. Chris says he wants, his is easy. He wants more time in the chair. He needs the butt in the chair. Kilo Delta 9 Charlie Lima Hotel. That's Chris. He's been in our community for a long time. And Facebook says he's a top contributor. So there is a lot of dialogue going on. Answers, Facebook started many years ago too with the podcast. I didn't know enough. I was asking questions of the same group of people. I felt like I was wearing out my welcome, frankly. And so I started the Facebook group just as a way for people who are working with 100 watts in a wire. Any power's welcome, right? But we were able to start talking about options, giving each other options, and that was cool. Chris has been around a long time. So has some of the others here in the chat. And if you're new, just write new down in the chat here of our live. You're welcome to come and be with us whenever. It's a friendly environment. Completely cool folks. That said, I probably should get some moderators set up here. Yeah. All right. Robert says he wants an Alinco DR. That's a 06TA 6-meter mobile rig. The converted Motorola Maritac in his truck is getting kind of old and temperamental. Robert is Kilo Delta 8 Victor Bravo Victor. 40 meters looks like this in the state of Florida. If you're joining us live, you can kind of see what I'm looking at. 7205. And there are signals there. It's so funny. During the day, back in Missouri, 40 meters is one of those bands where a lot of the great old timers will tell you, put up a 40-meter antenna. You should have some action all day. Something should be here. Other bands can be fickle. Some only come out at night. That's a Hall & Oates reference. 40 meters, but down here, about 11 in the morning, and it disappears. And I thought for the longest time, it was my antenna. I made a piece of crap. But I can make a pretty good wire antenna, y'all. That's all I'm saying. All right, Rolf. Rolf says he needs new employment, less working hours, and earning a decent salary to upgrade his 25-year-old station and having more time to play with his new toys. He's Zulu Sierra 6, Quebec, Charlie. I'd like to see that 25-year-old station, my brother. I would like to see it. All right. Pastor Joe would also like to work all Wawas. We would be a lot bigger if we were working all Wawas. But I'm down with that. Kind of an East Coast thing. If you're along the East Coast, you know what Wawa is and how those hoagies can make you feel 40 minutes after you eat them. Either glorious or sad inside. Charles says he wants somebody who can climb a tree like a monkey so he can get a wire antenna high enough to get some distance on 80 meters. He's Whiskey Bravo 3, Juliet Oscar Kilo. Do one more here from Mikey. He's thinking of an FT891 for portable operations. I think there's probably some people in our group who've had that portable operating setup. An FT891, lots of Yesu love going right there. So that's good. That's good to see. I've been an ICOM guy. However, I'm not opposed to flipping it up a little bit because if you haven't heard from a while, the 7610, which was my main rig. All right, this is one that you saved up money for. I saved up money for it, save. And something in the display has just gone nuts. You plug it in and it's there. You turn it on. Everything's good. I've changed jumpers. I've changed all sorts of things. Restarted it, reset it, all these things. Even reinstalled the software, the upgrades. And all of a sudden, the display is just blank. When you go to it, it just disappears. Gone. And it's just blue, a solid thing of blue. And it's the saddest thing. And I've got family. My in-laws are in town for a few days. And I'm going to have them take it back because it's just sitting here. I can't really do anything with it. And behind me, I've got the 7300. Luckily, the portable rig, which is usually mounted in this here, where you see this meter as a go kit, has been moved over to the main mothership, and it's the main one I'm running right now. So it's kind of where I am right now. So it's a bummer. The 7610 is heading back to Missouri, maybe to even get it a little closer to the repairs. The thing about the repairs, and I'm talking about that intersection of life and amateur radio, the anything I'm making, working, pickup gigs, whatever it is, goes to the family, right? I've got no resources to go and send that to ICOM, to mail it out. And they're pretty vague on how they do the cost. I don't know if it's $150 an hour, $80 an hour. You send it out there and you got to pay a flat thing, and then it's an hourly thing, and they don't even know what's wrong. I was like, have you ever seen this happen? No, of course not. So, how long are they going to spend on this rig before they can figure it out? What's that going to cost me? So, it's been that balance of like the hobby and food on your plate, and so it's in a box. It's just sitting there. Good evening to Kilo X-Ray 4 Tango, Quebec. His ears must have been burning because we were talking about some seedy places and towns and different towns. But he's like an advanced guy for the 100 Watts in a Wire tour. So he knows all the spots to go to see different things, eat different meals. Pastor Joe keeps balance in the crew, Keeps us well fed with the Wawa while we're on tour. You know the deal. What else is going on? Another side effect of living in Florida or paradise or whatever you call it. It's a little weird, man. I got to tell you. I got to be honest now again. Always honest. When I say I got to be honest, I'll say this to preface the people who live in Florida. The locals, people who were born and raised here and love Florida as a destination, have a second home. It is one of the strangest things to see houses sitting with no one in them. I don't come from that. I don't know what that, I don't understand that. I'm a blue collar kid from Baltimore. We got 12 MFers in the house, in a row house, action all day. Here, bless their hearts, they got enough to have 2 houses, 3, whatever it is, man. I know of snowbirds. I know people coming in January. I know Canadians now come at the end of January. More people come. They come in waves. And like by March, they're out. So people are kind of having houses here. And they just sit kind of vacant. You know, cameras and all the security and the people with the leaf blowers and the maintenance, construction. Anyway, down here, I would say real estate, except for right now, unless you've got that scratch and don't need mortgage money. I wouldn't say real estate is great, but people in it might be like, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Construction and like caring for people's houses who aren't even here. A lot of construction going on, a lot of blowing and lawn stuff going on. Anywho, when you drive down the streets, bling, bling, it's hit my 2 antennas on my truck. One is for HF. It's a Tar Heel, 80 through 6. On the other side, the passenger side, I've got the 2-meter 440. And I've got a 7100. Gives me the best of both worlds. 2 antennas can go into it. Good little radio. I like that radio still. Oh, some Jack Meehofer was in the middle of the road dumping a porous rocks on someone's lawn because they needed that. And I had to kind of go off onto the, out of the, the lane a touch because he had it all blocked up. And within, my whip got caught up in this palm tree, just thick leaves on it, and bent it back. And after I came through this mess, I look over and my stuff's tilted back. I'm like, again, I'm not in a situation where I'm buying replacement whips. Something was going to. So I get up to my daughter's school and picking her up, and I backed out the screw, the Allen key, looked at it, had my multi-tool. I was able to straighten it out. Nothing broke, just bent. And it's a thick tree, like not even little. It's like grab it and at slow speeds. So, it's treacherous down here, ham brothers and sisters. It is beautiful. Another thing that's different, everything's staying green. I could not tell you the difference between September and December. Except December, we might get into the 40s, but we still are up in the mid-70s. So you don't see any leaves changing. 40 meters disappears in the morning, comes back now. You've got a lot of overhang and these canopies. Got to be careful with the whips. And it's not a slower pace in terms of looking for gigs and work and trying to, it's slow. But more than anything else, it seems very transient here. I don't see towers. I mean, I see a couple of television towers with, old kind of microwave type antennas on them, maybe. But I don't see hams. Meanwhile, Florida is like number 3 or 2 in the most hams in the state. It's a big enough state, thin. But anyway, here in Sarasota, mostly 2 meters is rocking. And we talked about that in a different podcast where a lot of MCOM stuff because of the weather. And I dig it. They're out. They did a test over the weekend. for Simplex, and I loved it. I listened to it when I could. It's the first time I had the radio on in a bit, and then I watched my Ravens play in the nighttime. But 2 meters 440 side seems to be in Sarasota pretty happening, and then they've got that centralized. I don't know what they call it. You guys would probably know, but it's almost like a hub of repeaters in Central Florida, where you can kind of hear a lot of different things happening in different areas of the state, which is kind of cool listening as well. So there you have it. Any questions for me? It's cool to be around you guys and doing the live stream again. I did not know what this was. Traditionally, I've been sticking to like 20-minute episodes because Pastor Joe kind of breaks my stones when it comes to like being on his treadmill and having the perfect amount of length for that. So thinking about him and his needs, but this was definitely a test to see if we're still getting out streaming. We seem to be doing fine with that. We'll slowly build this back up, and over time I'll start to put these questions and create again that repository of questions that Steve and I or Scotty, even Pastor Joe, whoever has come by, you ask questions and we try to answer and give you some help. That's really the backbone of 100 Watts and a Wire. If you're new, you can say new here. Let us know. Appreciate that. Just say hello. Leave your call sign. That'd be great. And would love to get back as we enter into a new year, get back into maybe the Sunday evening live streams again, kind of covering the net a little bit. It all comes down to steady work. If I can do the steady work. As a man, we're men's. As a friend of mine, Essie, used to tell me, he worked in the housekeeping department, so he kept things clean. In my previous job, his name was Essie. He would say, we're men's. And so you got to remember the need to earn, take care of the family, and the hobbies and the things like that all kind of fall back. And that's really all that's been happening with me. Everything's cool. Everybody's healthy. We're getting on. We're trying. We're pushing on the grind. But that's doing the live streams and setting up all this stuff. And it's just been one of those things where it's like, if I get something more stable, then I can do my stuff more on. And I feel like something's going to give. So Pastor Joe knows what to do. Keep me on the prayer list. That's what you do. That's what you tell the people who have the direct line to the man, right? They talk to the man all the time. Keep me on that list. That's what we got to do. And keep me informed on what you're working on. I'm curious. If you have any questions, you can send those to me directly. I'd love to bring those back. Get Sidecar Steve in here because he's one of the smartest amateur radio operators I've ever come across. And he has been my mentor for 11 years, 10 or 11 years. And we've got a repository of Q&A that I'll put back on YouTube. So you can look it up when you get there. That's the thing about amateur radio is sometimes you're not there yet. And you will get there. So if I keep that repository up there, the questions come up, you'll look for them. There'll be an answer for you. Sorry I took it away. I didn't even think about it. And looking back in hindsight, I would have kept it as it was. All right. Any questions for me in the live? Otherwise, it's working. We can do this. We can hang out. How about we schedule another time? We'll figure out what days work, right? What's a good day for people? There was so many, when I stopped paying attention to YouTube, there was so many ham radio things happening that it didn't make sense. Like, what's open? Like, where could you even go? Like the programming of it, everybody's got something going on. And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to go somewhere. So Sunday seems to be a pretty good day in the evening. Maybe we could work on that. Start thinking about what might work. What's a good time? Where's a good pocket for us? And that's probably it. That's probably good. Episode 423. Appreciate you guys. Look for us on Discord. Don't forget, you can support the effort. Buymeacoffee.com/100 watts. If you find value in the community, these podcasts, the information that we share, the camaraderie of Discord or Facebook, consider going to 100wattsandwire.com. You can get to this support page, or you can buy me a cup of coffee. Whatever works for you. All the money goes back into the production of the podcast. We also have another way that you can support the show through the merch. Go to the store at 100wattsandwire.com. Pick up something fly, a hat, a sweatshirt, whatever you like. Get something back from it. Remember, you can become a member as well at buymeacoffee.com/100. And we have participating companies, right? Radio Waves, MFJ. I had a little inside scoop on MFJ. I don't know if I should share it here, but we'll wait on that. But MFJ, NI4L, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Radio Waves, MFJ, NI4L antennas. Oh, and Bioenno Power. Our friends from Bioenno Power. They have the best lithium phosphate batteries for your ham radios. Visit them at bioennopower.com. That's when you become a member. You can get a discount. Put some more money in your pocket. Buy something else. See how it works? Great. All right, brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. I'll let you go and enjoy your evening. Thanks for coming by for this brief little test. And if you're up for it, we'll try it again. This one will go out to episode number 423. Have yourself a great holiday, all right? Enjoy your family. Enjoy the ham radio community. I hope you get all the things that you wish for. Kiss your kids. Do that. Make sure you do that because they grow up fast, too damn fast. And by all means, if you can, please try and stay above the noise. 7-3, y'all. Be good. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsandawire.com.